What if your customers are trying to find your business online, but instead of finding you, they find your competitors? Now, more than ever, it's time to make sure you have the right SEO to make your business stand out online. Welcome to Go Mind Your Business with Terry Bork, presented by Extreme Marketing Concepts, putting your business in front of the hungry herd of buyers who are looking for you right now. Extreme Marketing Concepts, helping you drive more traffic, dominate the market, and crush your competition. And now, here's Terry.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Go Mind Your Business on All Your Business Radio, presented by the TalkWad Network. My name is Terry Bork, and today I have a very special guest with me. Her name is Karen Naef. Karen, welcome to our program today.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's our pleasure. Karen is amazing. She is a QuickBooks advisor, and she's going to be sharing some end-of-year tax strategies and tips with us and help us have a bang-out 2013. And I know I've got a ton of questions for her, and I'm sure you do too. So I'm really looking forward to our program today. Welcome again. So Go Mind Your Business is brought to you by Extreme Marketing Concepts. Extreme Marketing Concepts helps people leverage online media to get their message out to more people with less effort and more profit. If you're not in front of the hungry herd of buyers who are looking for you at the current time, you're losing business. If you'd like to make your telephone ring and start making additional money, give Extreme Marketing Concepts a call at 813-863-1452. So again, my guest today is Karen Naef of Quickbooks Coaching, LLC. Welcome, Karen.
It's nice to be here, Terry.
Yeah. So Karen is a QuickBooks Pro advisor and the owner of QuickBooks Coaching, LLC. Karen has a degree in business administration and over 25 years of small business operations experience. She's managed the bloating advertising marketing budgets on Madison Avenue in the heyday of the 80s, all the way through embracing the introduction of Lotus and ultimately Excel. She discovered QuickBooks for the first time in 1994, and she put aside her spreadsheets and she embraced QuickBooks as the end-all be-all for the small business record keeping and implemented it as the ideal financial management solution to simplify the mundane and offered solutions for budgeting, job costing, tracking job profitability. When the internet exploded at the start of the century, more power was available to businesses, particularly small businesses, and turnkey solutions like QuickBooks continue to develop and change to provide business systems and solutions unheard of in the 80s. Intuit is the maker of QuickBooks, and they continue to provide this integrated solution for small and mid-sized businesses. Karen launched QuickBooks Coaching, LLC, a business born out of passion to help entrepreneurs understand how to harness information needed to create accurate financial records and use them to make informed business decisions. And over the past 4 years, she's grown her business by 235%, a statistic that she says QuickBooks helped her determine. And she continued to work with wonderful clients by building relationships and becoming an integral part of their business, knowing that success means that their success means more to her and her success. So if you want to know your bottom line, hire a pro. Karen Naef with QuickBooks Coaching is the way to go. Again, Karen, welcome to our program today.
Thanks for having me, Terry.
Yes, absolutely. So, what made you come down to Florida from being in the Madison Avenue area and then come down to Florida and start a QuickBooks operation down here?
Very simple. I didn't want to shovel snow anymore.
Very
Lifestyle change.
Lifestyle change. Okay, right. And, we are getting close to Christmas here in Florida. We just finished celebrating Hanukkah. Christmas is next week. So very excited there. Merry Christmas to you.
Merry Christmas to you, too.
Yep. And, happy Hanukkah and Merry Christmas to all our listeners. So let's talk a little bit about QuickBooks. Why should I be using QuickBooks versus maybe any other type of spreadsheets or accounting program?
Well, there's a lot of ways to to track your business expenses, to track your records.
Hmm.
I feel that QuickBooks is it's a very user friendly solution. I mean, you can use spreadsheets, you can do that, but QuickBooks is going to give you the kind of reports that you need. It's going to give you a profit and loss, which is nothing more than tracking your money in and your expenses, which is your money out.
Got it. Okay. There's so different versions of QuickBooks that are available. How do I know which is the best version for my business?
Well, most people will be able to use QuickBooks Pro, which is a desktop version.
Hmm.
And there's also QuickBooks Online now, and they've made great strides in developing that product over the past couple of years. And one of the nice things about the online version is that they're constantly making improvements to it, which can be released as they happen.
Hmm.
While with the QuickBooks Pro, we're waiting. Every year they release a new version,
Okay.
and most people will need to upgrade. Like every 3 years.
I got that. Let me just adjust this a little bit for you.
Okay.
Thank you.
All
Okay.
righty.
No worries. Is QuickBooks really different from Quicken?
I call it the grown-up version of Quicken.
Okay.
So if you're running a business, it's going to give you more business-like reports. It enables you to work more with your chart of accounts, which is basically just a listing of what your expenses are, how you want to track your income. So it's just a little bit of a more formal program than Quicken is. Quicken is more something that you use on a personal level. QuickBooks is
Ah,
the business version.
got it. That makes sense. So QuickBooks, is it hard to learn? So many people I know say I bought it last year. They haven't even taken
Yeah,
it
I
out of the
know. I
box.
hear that a lot, and I think it's learning something new. It's something that people aren't quite familiar with. But once that's why I think it makes sense to work with somebody like me to help you set something up, to help you set up your chart of accounts, to help you to determine the best way to get your transactions into QuickBooks, which can be manually putting things in or setting up downloads from the bank, which I feel is the most efficient way of doing things, the most accurate.
I got that. Okay. So, you talk about the best way to get the transactions from your bank into the QuickBooks itself. How does
Right.
that happen?
Um, well, you can download your transactions into QuickBooks from your bank website.
Hmm.
You'll see, there's many ways to do it depending on what bank you use. So if you use a bank like Bank of America or Chase or Regions, they'll let you go back a year, or sometimes longer than that. So my clients that haven't done anything for the year, if they're using one of the bigger banks, that's not an issue because you can download your transactions for the year. You can then the process is matching them up into QuickBooks, which basically is just assigning a transaction to an expense category.
Uh-huh.
And so that way you're going to be able to track your expenses to get your profit and loss. So QuickBooks can be very basic for you. It could also become a little bit more complicated with setting up billing, and it's all how what kind of information do you want to get out of your accounting program. It can be as simple as money in, money out, or it can be a little bit more detailed in the information based on how you put your invoicing in, how you track your income, what the sources of income is, processing credit cards, processing payroll. So there's a lot of different ways to use QuickBooks, from the very, very basic to an enterprise version for a larger mid-sized company.
Got it. Okay. And QuickBooks can do all of that for you, right? If you're running your business and you're paying your staff, you can do all of your salary deductions right in your QuickBooks, so it's easy to come up
Yes.
with your W-2s and your
Yeah, and your
1099s at the end of the year,
1099s,
right?
and QuickBooks will also give you the ability to do time tracking. So
Oh,
if you're
great.
trying to do job costing and job profitability, you want to be able to put your people's times towards a particular job. Particularly for contractors, or for me, why I got into it was I was working with a small advertising agency, or actually a larger one, and I was doing all that job profitability with spreadsheets.
Uh-huh.
So that's why I got very excited about QuickBooks, to be able to set that program up so we could be tracking time, tracking expenses against particular jobs, especially in an advertising agency. You've got many clients and many different types of jobs, so it makes tedious spreadsheets kind of very, very easy
Mhm.
to find that information in QuickBooks, and you're also able to export out of QuickBooks into Excel if you need to produce different types of reports. So it's very, very flexible.
Oh, great. Yeah. Okay. I know that the accountant wants this all the time, but can you explain to us why it's important to reconcile our bank statements and if we can do that functionality within QuickBooks
hmm
itself?
It's very easy to do within QuickBooks, particularly if you download your transactions. The reason you want to reconcile is you want to show yourself, your CPA, and the IRS that your bank records have meaning. So if all your transactions that are in your bank account are in your QuickBooks and you reconcile that showing you and your CPA and the IRS that there's some integrity
Hmm.
to your financial records, because you can put anything you want into QuickBooks, but unless you're reconciling on a regular basis, so you know that all the transactions that are in QuickBooks actually belong there.
Hmm.
Um, it's you want to have integrity and meaning to your books, and that's what reconciling will do for you.
Oh, I got that. Okay.
So,
I often, as a business owner, hear talk of my bottom line.
mhm.
What is that?
um, Real simple. It's money in minus money out is your bottom line. So that's going to be your net profit after you take all your money in. Say you take in $75,000 for the year, and you take out um, $50,000 in expenses and salaries. $25,000 is your bottom line.
Oh,
So
okay. Well, that
very,
makes
very
sense.
basic.
Okay. Um, you know, um, why why is it that, my CPA or
hmm
you or QuickBooks advisors or accountants, why don't they want us to use cash?
Because most people don't save their receipts. They lose track of things. They don't get a receipt for things. So if you don't have a receipt to back up your cash expenditure, the way I like to kind of scare my clients a little bit is like, okay, you take $200 out of the ATM and you only have $100 in receipts that we can put into QuickBooks to back up that cash. That $100 is going to count as a distribution. That's going to count as money that, as if you took that money out and put it in your pocket. So unless you can back up with a receipt, that's the same as basically taking money out.
Oh,
Okay.
that's not a
Yeah,
good
which is
thing.
not a good thing. So that's why I
No.
encourage people to use their debit cards even for things such as a cup of coffee. Because
Right.
most of us, when we're going flying by Starbucks or Dunkin' Donuts, are basically, just throwing the cash there. We're not getting the receipts. And the way some of us might eat our coffee in the morning, you could be, losing hundreds of dollars a year in your coffee receipts that you don't put into your QuickBooks.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, and then a lot of that coffee can be written off.
There you go.
Got it. Okay.
Meals and entertainment
Uh,
at 50%. So I don't care what you call it, who you're taking out. If you want, calling it networking, whatever you're calling it, it's still
mhm.
meals and entertainment. It is only deductible by 50%.
Okay. Got it. Okay. I hear this term and I'm not quite sure what it means. Commingling funds. What is that? Why is it a
Okay.
problem?
Commingling funds will make your CPA nuts and the IRS. And
Okay.
commingling funds means that you are using your business account to pay personal expenses.
Uh-huh.
So, and not that you can't do that, but if you are doing that, if you're taking your debit card or you're writing a check to like TJ Maxx and that's clearly like not a business expense, we would classify that to member distributions, and that is something that's not going to go against your expenses. That's pretty much like the same as just like taking cash out of the business.
Uh-huh.
And sometimes it becomes very difficult with record keeping, and so, and especially I find this with small business, with like sole proprietors or people that are like LLCs, which are folks that where their income is going out in their 1040s. It doesn't matter as much, but if you're an S corp, all that it's just the way the money is taxed. It just makes the CPAs nuts.
Okay.
So you want to try not to do that. So I just encourage you, just to try and if you're going to pay for personal expenses, you want to do that by taking a salary out or taking money out and putting that into a personal account, so you're able to really separate your business from your personal.
Right. Okay. I got that. All right. Great. Again, we're speaking with Karen Naef with QuickBooks Coaching LLC. If you're looking for a QuickBooks advisor, Karen is top notch. She can be reached at 813-528-5670. That's 813-528-5670. Karen, do you offer classes to people to teach them how to use QuickBooks?
I generally don't, because I find that I work much better with folks one on one,
Mm-hmm.
because everybody's business is set up a little bit differently. Business needs are different. So if I'm going to offer a 2 hour class,
Mm-hmm.
there's probably maybe about 20 minutes or half an hour that's really, really useful to somebody.
Right.
So I would rather spend the time with somebody one on one to get their QuickBooks set up, to make sure their chart of accounts are in order, that a method is determined how they're going to get their transactions into QuickBooks, that they understand reconciling and how to do that, and why they need to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's a much more efficient use of their time and their budget than paying for a class. Although I have given classes before, like to a bunch of real estate agents, some people that are in a similar business,
Mm-hmm.
where you're going to have similar issues and similar setups and similar questions. So I have done that in the past, and I would do that. But for the most part,
Okay.
I like working with one on one. It's more efficient. I think you learn better,
Mm-hmm.
and that's the way that I usually like to do it.
Okay. Now, do the people like they can download their transactions themselves and then you come in and put it together for them? Is that
Yeah,
the
I can
typical
work with
service?
I can work with folks a lot of way. I can get things set up for you, teach you how to do it so you can do it yourself,
Uh-huh.
and continue to visit with you on a regular basis until you're comfortable with that.
Mm-hmm.
Or some people like me to come in on a monthly basis or every couple of months, just to make sure that, because people are afraid of messing it up.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you really can't, but you've got to achieve a certain comfort level before you're going to be able to kind of do it on your own on a regular basis.
Got it.
So I
Okay.
will come and visit with folks to do that for them, or to just continue the teaching process.
Okay, perfect. When you talk about mess it up, can
Hmm.
I break it? Can I break
No,
QuickBooks?
you can't break QuickBooks. There's always ways to fix things, and in QuickBooks, there's many ways to achieve an end.
Mm-hmm.
There's a couple different ways to enter checks. And you can enter checks from the checkbook register, which just looks like a register that you would, like your paper register. QuickBooks kind of has a picture of a check. If you open up, like, there's, it says check, and there's a picture of a check. You just fill it in.
Mm-hmm.
And another way to get the transactions in is to download them.
Mm-hmm.
And that way, then there's a process. Once they're downloaded into QuickBooks, they're kind of like in a little holding place, and then you go through and you match those transactions up. QuickBooks will learn your vendors. So once that you've put a vendor in there, it's going to remember that vendor, and it's going to remember where, like the last expense account that you assigned that vendor to. So over time, I mean, initially it's a little time consuming, but once QuickBooks knows your vendors, it becomes very easy. A good example of this is I had a client where I did the whole year for them, downloaded their transactions. There were about over 2,000 transactions, and it took me about 8 hours to do that. Setting up the vendors, setting up the expense accounts, and they were going to be, oh yeah, we're going to do it, we're going to do it. And I get the call, yeah, we didn't do our QuickBooks this year. Can you come back and do it? Which I
Mm-hmm.
went in there, and those same 2,000 transactions took me about 2 hours to do, because QuickBooks already knew the vendors and knew the
Got it.
expenses. So QuickBooks becomes more efficient the more you use it.
Got it. Okay. Well, that's good. I know that you call yourself a pro advisor,
Yeah, QuickBooks
QuickBooks
Pro
Pro
Advisor.
advisor.
Yeah.
What does that mean exactly?
Well, that's an official title from Intuit.
Okay.
I have passed. I pay to be a pro advisor,
Mm-hmm.
and I also have passed certain tests with Intuit. I'm certified in every year of QuickBooks from 2007 on. I will be using my Christmas vacation to become certified in 2013.
Got
And
it.
QuickBooks
Wow.
also just released a test for certification in QuickBooks Online.
Okay.
So, but I think it's important because you're familiar with the new features, and it's just a test for competency to make sure that you know what you're doing. There's a logo that I can use from Intuit that shows that I am a certified QuickBooks Pro Advisor.
Hmm.
And what I like about being a Pro Advisor is that I am able to um, contact English speaking tech support that's specifically for pro advisors. So folks that have business experience and can help me with certain issues with functionality, with setup. If I want QuickBooks to do something and I'm not able to get it to do that, I have somebody to brainstorm with. So I always feel like somebody has my back and I have support, so I can pretty much be confident about going into any situation, knowing that if I don't know the exact answer, that I'm going to have some help in solving the problems for a client.
Got it. Okay. You're listening to Go Mind Your Business, sponsored by Extreme Marketing Concepts, putting your business in front of the hungry herd of buyers who are looking for you right now. Our special guest is Karen Naef, QuickBooks Coaching LLC. She does have a website, and you can reach her website for questions, answers to your questions by going to www.quickbookscoachingllc.com. Karen, what services do you provide to your clients, and why should someone, choose you?
Well, I care a lot about my clients,
Mm-hmm.
and that I think really sets me apart. I'm invested in a client in setting up their business, helping them to solve their problems, in being available, making them comfortable with QuickBooks, whether that's teaching them how to use it themselves or coming in on a regular basis to do it for them, so they have the information that they need to make business decisions on a regular basis. So that their QuickBooks is set up the way that they need it to be set up to have the information they need to make the business decisions that they need to make.
Awesome. Okay, and I truly get that with you. How do you I try to keep all my receipts,
Hmm.
but I don't know that I do the best job. Life happens despite
Hmm.
my best intentions. What's the best way for me to keep track of all my records?
Well, um, you want to, download your bank statements every
Mm-hmm.
month, but then that carries over into your credit cards. You can
Mm-hmm.
also download all your credit card statements and transactions into QuickBooks. So you want to reconcile your credit card statements the same way that you reconcile your bank statements, and that it will also carry into PayPal. So if
Mm-hmm.
you're using PayPal for some of your clients to pay you for your services, and then you are purchasing different services or goods from PayPal, that's also an account that needs to be reconciled. So again, the purpose of reconciling is to give integrity to your financial records. And what I recommend, the simplest way, and everybody's going to have a different system that works for them, but I find the simplest way is to have a folder for each month where you're keeping that month's, bank statements and credit card statements, and just kind of throwing your receipts into that folder. I recommend that you make notes on your receipts and, just kind of set up a place in your house, whether it's some kind of a basket, a bag, a folder, where your rule is that your receipts live here.
Mm-hmm.
And you also, if you tend to lose things, or you can also use something that's called Neat Receipts, where you can scan your receipts into, in on, so you're able to store them, either in the cloud or on your computer, so you don't have to worry about keeping the paper receipts after you've scanned them in. That is accepted by the IRS, and you can always find a receipt by the name or the amount, because they're scanned in by the name. You can categorize them differently, but there's a lot of different ways to do it, but it's like you've gotta find a way that works for you. You've gotta find a system and then stick to it.
Okay, awesome. Great. So So the IRS is, if you don't have one but you have a copy of it, that they're accepting that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, especially since a lot of the thermal papers, they kind of dissolve after a
Yeah.
year. And then I know many of us have found out if you're like highlighting on you put a yellow highlighter on a thermal receipt, that just kind of disappears the
Right.
number and the date. So, I mean, and also if that's another reason for trying not to use cash
Right.
as much as you can, because your debit card transactions are going to be downloaded to your bank statement.
Right.
So that's going to be available and
Okay.
as a part of your records.
Okay. I got that. Okay. What's the best way to categorize our expenses, Karen?
Um, in a method that makes sense to you, the client, because you can have something, the way I say this is like you can have car expenses, you have like auto expenses. That can be a general category, or some people are going to want to split that out into uh, fuel, into repairs, into parking, into tolls. So you can have as much or little information as you need, and I would make subcategories under that. And the same thing for computer and internet expenses. That's a standard um, category on a tax form, but for some of us, depending on the way we work, that could be a very large number. So you may want to split that out into hardware, software, your internet costs. So what is important for you to know.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's why when we initially meet, it's sitting down and determining how detailed you want to be. And same thing with income. You just want to have a general income or sales, or do you want to know what type of income it is? Like for a landscaper, is this maintenance income? Is this irrigation income? Is this new construction income? So it really depends on how do you want to track, what's because at a glance, if you split things out, you can tell where your income is coming from and where you should be kind of focusing your effort.
Oh, okay. So you can use your QuickBooks account kind of as a guide as what's working maybe,
hmm
and saying, "Oh, I'm getting a lot of income in this area. Maybe I need to develop it more."
Absolutely, and that's the other reason why if you have things in, if you're tracking your expenses in QuickBooks, once you have some history, you're
Mm-hmm.
going to be able to do comparisons from year to year.
Mm-hmm.
Where am I spending more money? And like my expenses are up here. Why is that? Or here's my income, and that's how I kind of track things. When I first started my business, I've increased my business by 235% since my
Right.
first full year in 2009 to 2000 now 2012. Those are the types of numbers that you can track. So
Right.
you can tell if, certain areas, if if your sales are flat, if you're spending too much money in one place or another, if you've improved your bottom line, because you can have the same amount in sales. Say you have $50,000 for the year in sales, but and instead of having like a negative bottom line, you can have a positive bottom line. Yeah, and that's all depending on where your expenses are, where they're going, how you're reining those under control. So if you're looking at that on a regular basis, you can see if you're starting to overspend. You can see where if gas is costing more, especially like for I'm bringing up like my landscapers because their business has been affected over the past couple years by the cost of gas.
Absolutely.
So you can really kind of you can find information that's going to be useful for you in determining how you're going to run your business.
I got that. Okay. You are listening to Go Mind Your Business on All Your Business Radio at the Talkwad Network. My name is Terry Bork, and my special guest today is Karen Naef. If you're looking for a QuickBooks Pro advisor, you can give Karen a call at 813-528-5670. We're going to take a quick break for a word from our sponsor, Extreme Marketing Concepts, putting your business in front of the hungry herd of buyers who are looking for you right now. If you're looking for a marketing consultant, give them a call at 813-863-1452. And we'll be right back after this quick word from Extreme Marketing Concepts. And we're back to Go Mind Your Business on All Your Business Radio, sponsored by Extreme Marketing Concepts. My name is Terry Borg, and my special guest today is Miss Karen Naef, a QuickBooks Pro Advisor. Again, if you're looking for some QuickBooks advising help, you can reach Karen by calling 813-528-5670. Karen, welcome back.
It's good to be here again.
Yeah.
We're still.
Still. That's right. Okay. So, merchant services, I know for lots of folks is a very important part, an integral part of their business. Does QuickBooks provide merchant services?
Yeah, QuickBooks does have merchant services that plays very, very well with QuickBooks. You're able to process credit cards directly through QuickBooks. You can store your client information in their customer record. And when you go to receive a payment, there's a little box that you can check that says, process credit card when closing. So if it's in there, you're receiving the payment for an invoice, or you're creating a sales receipt. Once you save that transaction, it's automatically going to process for you. And then there is a very easy to use merchant services center. So and everything is going to sync with QuickBooks as far as the merchant services goes. And I know for some of my smaller uh, clients who are out on the road selling products, they a lot of folks are using something called Square. Intuit has basically the same thing, and it's called Go Payment. So Intuit has Go Payment, which is you can have that separately as a standalone service where there's no monthly charge necessary. You're only being charged for when you actually use it, and that is also that will also sync with your desktop QuickBooks or your QuickBooks Online. So it's really very, very easy to use, and the pricing is standard. I mean,
Okay.
they're pretty much all the same.
Okay, perfect. What kind of reports does QuickBooks generate, and how can, other ways that they can help me with my business with the reporting?
Well, the most important report you're going to have is your profit and loss,
Mm-hmm.
and there's different ways to pull that report.
Mm-hmm.
The way that it'll come up in QuickBooks is going to basically give you your total to date,
Mm-hmm.
but then you're also able to track it by month.
Mm-hmm.
For some clients, it might even be important to track it by week. So there's different filters. So if you just wanted to track certain clients, or you wanted to find out how much money you've made with a particular client, there's reports you can pull on that. QuickBooks has something now that's called a snapshot. So you can open to that page. You're going to see who are your most profitable clients, who still owes you money. It can help you manage your accounts receivable. So there's a lot of really kind of nice tools that QuickBooks has developed over time by listening to customer feedback. And I've been fortunate to be part of their research, part of the panel. So I'm able to give feedback, the things that are bothering me, the things that my clients are asking for. I can communicate directly with QuickBooks. In fact, on QuickBooks Online, if there's something that's bugging you, there's like a little button that says feedback, where you can kind of sit there and put the feedback in right away. And I always thought it was like a little bit lame. I never used it until I had a conversation with one of the online tech support, and says that they have giant screens up in the rooms of the engineers where those comments are flashing across the screen.
Oh,
So
wow.
so I was reasonably impressed by that,
Right.
to know that that we are being heard.
Yeah.
And I was
That's
just
terrific.
part of a research panel just last week, where I was interviewed by it was 4 researchers and developers about about payroll.
Mm-hmm.
And gee, do you like this screen? We're thinking about doing this. We're thinking about doing that. Do you like this? What do you like about it? What don't you like about it? So I really feel like Intuit is really trying to meet the needs of the client. I mean, they're a big obviously huge corporation,
Mm-hmm.
and they service 90% of small businesses who use a financial software are using QuickBooks, and they value that, and it is important to them, and it's important to me as a QuickBooks Pro advisor that I have a product that I can feel proud of, that I can support, that I know and that will meet the needs of my clients.
Got it. Okay. It's the end of 2012 and 2013 is what, 2 weeks away?
Yeah.
If that is very
Yep.
scary.
Yeah.
I don't even know where the year
I
went,
know.
but besides the point, should I start if I haven't done anything so far this year, do I start today or do I wait and start in January? What's the best thing to do at this time of year?
Well, if you need to do a tax return for
Mhm.
2012 and you
Hmm.
have no records, I think it would probably be a good idea to do that even at this late date,
Mhm.
especially if you're working with a bank where you can download your transactions.
Mhm.
That will make it easy to set up for, for the year. It doesn't have to be a fortune. I can work together with folks to get things set up for them. If you happen to be I don't want to say unfortunate, but credit unions don't play real well with QuickBooks as far as being able to download transactions. But there are methods of getting your transactions into QuickBooks
Mhm.
without doing the downloads and without having to enter every single transaction. I like to call it the highlighter method,
Sure.
where you're taking your bank statement, you get a bunch of colored highlighters, you highlight your gas, you highlight your meals and entertainment, so that way you end up with a colored bank statement. You add up all the colors, and then we do something that's called a journal entry, which will just then make some general entries for each month without having to put in 75 debit card transactions. We'll only have a transaction for each category. That's going to give us a total of your gas, a total of your meals and entertainment, a total of your office supplies, and whatever else you're spending. So
Mhm.
it can be done in a way that's not going to torture you to death and not cost you a fortune by bringing a shopping bag or a shoebox full to your CPA.
Got it. Okay. That's good. That's good. Well, I'm very excited. I'm good there, but I know you're out there.
Oh, I know you're out there because I've been working with you guys for the past few months. So I thought things would kind of die down a little bit, but no, not so
No.
much.
Well, I think as the year is going to end now,
Mhm.
people are going to get nervous going, "Oh man, now I got to get this all done for."
And especially with if you're in a business where you are making some money,
Mhm.
now is the time to do tax planning, not January 1. I mean,
Right.
now you can do something about it. So if there is, if you've got a healthy bottom line, you can up your salary if you're an S corp. You can put money into an IRA. But if you don't have your records together, you don't have the information you need to make those business decisions.
Mm.
And then if you're procrastinating and still not doing things, because we all do that because we just don't want to deal with um, some of the less fun parts of business, and you don't get it filed by March 15th or April 15th.
Mhm.
I mean, you can end up owing a lot of money and penalties, and it's like now is the time to take control of things.
Yeah.
Now is the time to pull together everything for 2012. Or we start in January, get everything done for your year 2012, and then set up systems so you're going to be efficient and being able to
Right.
feel confident about your
Sure.
record keeping going into 2013.
Got it. You know, we're talking about taxes and keeping your records together and doing your books. How are you different from my accountant?
I'm a whole lot cheaper because I'm not a CPA, don't want to be a CPA. I don't do taxes. I just consider myself, an expert in business operations and business record keeping.
Okay,
And
so
I don't think the same way that a CPA
okay.
does. I can give them a beautiful QuickBooks file. I can give them the reports that they need in order to
Okay.
do your taxes, but I am going to work with you to set up a system, using QuickBooks I see QuickBooks as a tool.
Mhm.
And it's, how are you going to track your money? Because
Mhm.
we're all in business to make money.
Yeah.
So if you don't know how much money you're making, if you're operating off low, well, let me go online and see how much money I have in there. Not a particularly great way to manage your business, but so
Right.
many, so many people do
Right.
because your bank balance is not telling you, checks that, your pending checks, checks that have not cashed.
Mhm.
So, or the bill payments that have been set up that are going to hit your account in 2 weeks. So it's not a good cash management tool. You
Mhm.
want to be able to depend on your QuickBook balance to tell you how much money you have, what you're expecting in. your online banking does not have your accounts receivable in it.
Got it.
So
Okay.
QuickBooks is going to give you the information you need to manage your business and to make financial
Okay.
decisions.
Okay. So you're able to provide everything that I need to send to my CPA
Yes. Yeah.
when it's time for that
Hmm.
coming up. Okay, great.
Yeah.
So you guys partner
Yeah,
together.
I definitely partner together with CPAs, and especially in the setup with the business. If somebody is already working with the CPA, I like to talk to them or involve them. So it's
Hmm.
like, here's the chart of accounts that we're proposing to set up. Does this look good to you? Is there something missing? Something else you'd like to see? Because you can ask a CPA a question and get 10 different answers, and the
Hmm.
right answer is, what is the CPA that you're working with say?
Got it.
So.
Okay. There's so many different terms, Karen, with balancing your books. What's a profit and loss statement, and what kind of information does that provide?
Well, again, I mean, that's profit and loss is also called an income statement.
Uh huh.
And that's basically all it is money in and money out.
Oh,
It's
okay.
your income and your expenses. So income minus expenses is your bottom line. And your balance sheet is how much your business owns and how much your business owes. So
Okay.
that's your assets and your liability
Okay.
and your equity. So it's like two different pieces
Got it.
and kind of like one. I mean, they work together, but it's like if you're, if you look at the line in your equity, that's not going to be what your net profit is. So
Okay.
they don't directly correlate with each other.
I see.
But those are reports that your CPA will need to track. So if you've loaned money to to your company to start your business, the balance sheet is where you're going to track that. If there are loans, that's where those get tracked. Your bank accounts are going to show up on your balance sheet.
Mm-hmm.
Your liabilities, your credit cards, what you are on credit cards will show up on your balance sheet. So that's where all those types of accounts live,
Mm-hmm.
and your income accounts and your expense accounts live on your profit and loss.
Ah, I got
So,
that.
yeah, so there's
Okay.
two things that you want to send to your CPA, and if the CPA does not use QuickBooks, because many CPAs, you can send a backup of your QuickBooks file, and they're able to open that up and then pull that into their tax preparation software. If CPAs are not using QuickBooks or don't have the version of QuickBooks that your file is in, I can send them or I show you how to prepare something that's called a general ledger, which is nothing more than a total accounting of every single transaction in QuickBooks.
Okay. Well, you're sharing you kind of bridged right into my next question for you there, and I know that there's always enhancements
Hmm.
to QuickBooks. How often should you upgrade your QuickBooks program?
Um, the rule of thumb is going to be every 3 years. So now that they've released 2013, they're going to start, they call it sunsetting 2009.
Okay.
That doesn't mean that 2009 is not going to work anymore, but if you're, or let's see, 11, 12, 13, 2010,
Okay.
they're going to sunset 2010. But it's not going to work with your on downloading your transaction. It's not going to work with merchant services. It's not going to work with payroll because since QuickBooks is updating every year, they're not going to spend the time and resources to keep updating an older program.
I see.
And since the program, I mean, it retails like the QuickBooks Pro retails for $249. As a QuickBooks Pro advisor with my discount, I can get it for folks for $160. And then we all see the Sam's Club or BJ's specials where you can get it for $129 or $99. So it's not a huge investment to make every 3 years for such an important piece of your business.
Hmm.
So it's after you if you need QuickBooks to work with online banking, with payroll, with merchant services, you will need to upgrade every 3 years. If you don't, if you're entering, I mean, I have some clients that are still working on 2008 because they're entering all their transactions manually. They're not using the outside services. They're not using any integrated products, so it really doesn't matter.
Got it.
So,
Okay.
and the same thing with if you're using QuickBooks Online, that's a monthly subscription. And as a pro advisor, I can also offer a discount to my clients for that as well as payroll.
Okay.
I mean, I'm kind of going all over the place,
No,
but
no,
I'm
you're
talking
fine.
about like the integrated products with QuickBooks.
Hmm.
Um, so again, bottom line answer to your
Hmm.
To your question, is every 3 years you need to upgrade.
Got it. Okay. So you're talking about the desktop version and the online version
Hmm.
of QuickBooks. Are they not the same thing, or are they similar? Are they really different? And how do
Well,
you
as far
determine?
as functionality, they're gonna do things. You're still gonna have your checkbook register and your profit and loss, but it's gonna look different because it's built on a totally different platform for the online version than the desktop version. The desktop version is gonna give you a whole lot more detail. It's gonna work a little faster. You're gonna be able to have multiple screens open at a time if that's the way that you work.
Hmm.
It does have a little bit of a different look. But if you need to access QuickBooks like on the road from your iPad, from a laptop, like it's like some of my contractors, some of my landscapers, want to be able to access their QuickBooks out in the field.
Hmm.
Or if you need to have more than one person working on it, so if somebody wants to have me, kind of going in to take a look and make sure everything's okay, rather than me having to save their file or do an accountant's copy, I'm always able to get into QuickBooks Online because it is a cloud-based solution. It is a subscription. You don't have to worry about backing up your data with QuickBooks Online the way you do with your desktop, QuickBooks Pro.
Hmm.
So there's different reasons. Like a lot of my younger clients like the cloud solution. They like the QuickBooks Online.
Hmm.
So if you're okay with paying a monthly subscription, which also does include, like, if I'm not available, there is a help desk so that you can call directly into to figure out how to do something if you've forgotten or you don't know how to do something and you can't get me to help you with that.
Right. Okay. Now, with the online solution, does that automatically upgrade every year, or do you have to always buy
No, you're
different?
paying a monthly subscription price, and they're pretty much doing releases, as needed
Uh huh.
every couple of months. So, when there's things that we've moaned and groaned and complained about, because like most pro advisors hate the online version because it is so different, but I have really grown to like it and appreciate it and understand that it's the right solution. Like, I'm looking for the right solution for my clients, not
Hmm.
because I like or dislike, how a program functions,
Sure.
because it's different, it's new.
Right.
So, a lot of the pro advisors who've been using, the desktop version, they're resisting the new stuff.
Hmm.
And, I'm embracing it because it's the right solution for a lot of my clients. What I do like about the QuickBooks Online um, is that you can set that up to download your transactions from your bank or credit
Right.
cards automatically.
Right.
So you don't have to go in and, get your transactions like you do with the QuickBooks desktop. I mean, granted, you're just pressing a button to make the
Right.
connection, but this does it automatically. So it's all sitting there on a tab that says downloaded transactions, waiting for you to get to it to match those in to the correct expense accounts to get that into your register. So I really like that because it's kind of like dummy proof,
Hmm.
especially for clients who have banks that will only allow them to go back 3 months at a time.
Right.
Because there are some banks like that. And then if you've forgotten to download or you haven't done your QuickBooks in 6 months and you can only download 3 months worth of transactions, there's 3 months that have to be done manually.
Right. Right. And that's just a
Pain
pill.
in the neck.
I got that. Karen, are there any other tips for end of year strategy that our listeners can take with them?
um, just get it done.
Hmm. Yeah.
It, because this is not something that you want to be stressing about on March 1st when you've got when your taxes are due as an S corp or a partnership on March 15th.
Right.
Then you've got to file an extension. So, and then you're already working with last year and you're into the new year. So you want to have your 2012 stuff done
Right.
in 2012 or in early January. And if you're having problems getting it together, call me. I can definitely
Right.
help and get the project done, get things together, get you on systems that are setting you up for a really great 2013.
Awesome. Awesome. Again, my special guest today was Karen Naef. If you are looking to simplify your tax life, and I know so many of us need that in our business, you can reach her at 813-528-5670. Karen also has a website that you can go out and check out and get some quick answers to questions you might have. And you can find that by visiting www.quickbookscoachingllc.com. That's quickbookscoachingllc.com. Karen, thank you so much for joining us today. It was my pleasure to have you on the show.
Oh, and thank you so much for having me. I enjoyed the opportunity to sit and chat with you
Yeah.
and to share my passion for QuickBooks.
Yeah. Oh, I know. It's so great that you love doing that because I just
I
find
know,
it
hard
such
to
a
believe,
chore.
isn't it?
That numbers are not my thing. I just like to spend them.
Well, we want to be able to help you track how much you're spending.
Yes, I know. So, Karen is definitely awesome for that. Again, you can reach Karen at 813-528-5670. My name is Terry Bork with Go Mind Your Business on All Your Business Radio. Our sponsor is Extreme Marketing Concepts. If your phone is not ringing from your marketing efforts, that's your business. Getting your phone to ring is theirs. If you're looking at improving your marketing over the next coming months, give them a call at 813-863-1452. On behalf of everybody here at Go Mind Your Business, All Your Business Radio Station, part of the Talkwad Network, I want to wish you and yours a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and we will see you real soon. Take care, y'all. Now go mind your business.
Thank you for listening to Go Mind Your Business with Terry Bork, presented by Extreme Marketing Concepts. If you want to drive more traffic, dominate the market, and crush your competition, find out how by visiting our website, www.extrememarketingconcepts.com. And join Terry next time for another episode of Go Mind Your Business.